Hi guys, it's Michelle from Cozy Egg. Thanks for joining. You can find me at my blog, cozyeggdesigns.com, or you can just go to cozyeggdesigns.com directly, and from there you can get to either of my blogs. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Ravelry, etc. as Cozy Egg. So, thanks for returning. If you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate it. I've had several new subscribers to my YouTube channel in the past couple of weeks, which I really appreciate. And if you're a new viewer, thanks for joining and checking me out. And I hope that you will be a return viewer in the future. So, let's get started. So today, this is episode 15. I have my note here. This is episode 15 of the podcast / Philosotube. And today is Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016. I can't even believe it's August. Of course, you know, in May I said, I can't even believe it's May, but anyway, it's August. And it is, I think today here in Texas, it was 103 degrees, feels like 109. I know there are places that are worse, but it's hot. So if I look a little shiny, that's why. Okay, so let's see. So finishes. I actually had a finish this past week. And I don't remember if I showed this last time. I don't know that I did. I don't think I did, because I think I just kind of picked this up sort of on a whim. But anyway, this is, it's a little ornament, and this is from Plum Street Samplers. And last year, Paulette Stewart from Plum Street Samplers actually released the set of the 12 Days of Christmas ornaments as her Sunday Mystery Sampler. So she had done this, the Sunday Mystery Sampler, the year before, and had a free chart. I believe it was called Mary Sampler. She had 2 versions of it, and I stitched that, and it was so enjoyable. And it was like, I don't know, like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. She would release a new part every Sunday, and by Thanksgiving, you had a finished, you know, Christmas little sampler. And so this past year, she decided to do 12 Days of Christmas. And so the story behind this is, and you might be familiar with it, back in like 2011, she did this for the Just Cross Stitch ornament preview issue. I think it was the preview issue. First day, there it is. And the colors on that one are slightly different. And I'll get to that in a minute. But then in 2012, she released Second Day, and then that was kind of the end of that, and she hadn't released any further. And, you know, somebody mentioned to her, hey, it's going to take 12 years to do all of these, so to get like the whole set. So she decided to do them as the Sunday Mystery Sampler and release them, you know, that way. And the way that she did it, and it's on her blog, you can search for Sunday Mystery Sampler. The way she did it was, you can stitch each of these individually and finish them as ornaments, or she had it charted so that you could stitch them all together on one piece of fabric with a little border and everything around it. So I decided that what I was going to do is stitch these individually. And I was just going to use, you know, kind of whatever scrap fabric that I have, scrap linen, and kind of mismatch whatever, you know, I'm not going to try to stay consistent with the linen. And then finish these into little pillows that I'm going to fill with crushed walnut shells so that I can display them in a bowl. And I thought it would be just kind of cute that they would look, you know, a little mismatched, you know, found objects kind of thing, you know, not that they were all the same, all you know, conformity, all of that. So anyway, Paulette has for the whole series, it's 4 colors. It's a red, it's a green, it's a black, it's a gold. So she gives you the colors that she used for the model that she did in the Just Cross Stitch issue. And they were a little brighter than maybe brighter is not the right word, but the green was kind of an apple green, and the red was not a deep red like this. It was more kind of this lighter, brighter red. I decided that I wanted mine to be, you know, really kind of Christmassy colors, and that I would stick with the same, you know, cut threads throughout, so that is, you know, that kind of keeps them all looking a little uniform. And so for this I used, and this is 36 count vintage Meadow Rue. And then the 2 threads that I used silks. The red is Belle Soie Tulip, and the green is Gloriana Collard Greens. And I just love how it turned out. I had actually started this last year when she released the first set that first Sunday, and I set it down and, you know, never came back to it. Sorry. And I don't know what possessed me the other day, but I just picked it up and decided, you know what, I'm just going to work on this. So now I have one little finish, and I do have some more room on this fabric, so I can make a couple more out of this, and then I've got some other fabric. This is my sad story. So, and you probably, if you've been reading my blog for a long time, you know the story. But this was a Halloween round robin that I participated in probably 10 years ago, 9 years ago. And the person that was one of the people that was in the round robin disappeared, and had my round robin and had one other stitcher's round robin at the same time. And she just disappeared off the face of the earth. And, you know, that's the horror story. And unfortunately, the reality with doing round robins is you run that risk. Months and months and months later, she did finally return both of the round robins. No explanation, no I'm sorry, no nothing. And we had, you know, gone to great lengths to reach out to her, to send her postage paid envelopes, you name it. But anyway, when it came back, at that point I was so disheartened with it that I knew I was just never going to finish it. So I've been slowly, this was a yard of fabric, so I was also upset with having lost a whole yard of Lakeside linen. But I decided that I would take, and she didn't stitch on it, so just the 3, me and 2 other ladies had stitched on it. So I decided that I would probably just cut those up into little Halloween ornaments or something. So I've been sort of slowly cutting parts of this fabric up over time. Anyway, that was a very long-winded side note. But yeah, I can't even, it just makes me so upset to think about it. So anyway, so any bit of love that I can get out of this fabric and do something that makes me happy is a good thing. So that's my one finish for the week. That's the only finish that I had. Like I said, I will probably work on the other ornaments that go with this at, you know, at some point. You know, part of what made me pick this up is that my guild has a magic program that we do every year, and magic stands for my annual good intentions contract. And so each year we choose one thing or several things that we are committing to finishing that year. And of course, I never finish anything on my list. Last year I actually did finish And They Send, which has been on my magic list for like 5 years. But anyway, this year, And Anniversaries of the Heart is on my magic list. So is Mystery 9. I've been working on both of those. So is Colonial Garden, which I showed you last time. And then I also put on there to finish, to stitch 6 ornaments. So here's number 1. So I figure, you know, over the next few months I'll work on stitching, you know, a few more. And then I always do the ornament exchanges for both guilds at Christmas time. So that'll be 2 right there. So anyway, that was my finishes. So whips, really the only thing I have worked on in the past couple of weeks. This is like a confession video today, isn't it? You get to hear all my stories. So I've been working on Anniversaries of the Heart. You know, I took a little side detour, worked on Mystery 9 a little bit. I have gone back to Anniversaries of the Heart a little bit. I've done a little more beading on Mystery 9, but nothing really in the last couple of weeks. So Eric and I started watching The Tudors on TV, that series that I think was on Showtime, like years ago, which we're just behind the times, but we started watching that, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I had 2 thoughts. One is, I'm so sad that they canceled that Dracula TV show that Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was in, because it was awesome, and they canceled it after like 4 episodes, and I'm sad. But anyway, the second thing I was thinking was, I know the perfect thing to stitch on while I'm watching The Tudors. What could it be? It is Primitive Hare's The 6 Wives of Henry VIII. What could be more perfect? So, and I didn't bring the chart in here, so I decided to start it and stitch on it while we're watching our show. So here's my little start. And so if you haven't seen this chart, and I'll link to it so you can see a photo of the whole thing in the show notes, which will be on my blog as usual. So it's got, you know, Tudor up here with the Tudor rose. This is all going to be filled in, but I had to rip that T back out because apparently I was tired or drunk or something one night and had it over to one side. So I ripped all that out. Now I have to fill this in. It's got the 6 wives of, and then down here way at the bottom it'll say Henry VIII, and it has these little surrounds. This one is for Anne Boleyn, obviously, and there's the bee up there from her necklace that has the pearls on it that she wore all the time that you've seen in portraits. And then this one has the cross. This will have Catherine of Aragon in it, and her cross that she wore, her necklace. And then of course the crown. And there are some French knots that go in here that look like pearls on the crown. And then there's also little French knots that go in between all of these little squares that are red. So I haven't done those. I'll wait until probably the end to do those. And then down here you've got the other 4 wives. So Catherine Parr and Catherine Howard and Anne of Cleves, and the name escapes me. Anyway, so Jane, right? Anyway, so I'm working on that, and this, oh, I didn't even tell you. So this is done in DMC. It's the called for threads. I'm just using exactly what she called for. And the fabric, a couple years ago, my friend Sylvia, who is in Germany, went to, and I think this is where the fabric is from, went to like the Zweigart factory there in Germany, and bought several pieces of fabric that are all about this same size for me. This is Gonder linen, I think is what she calls it. And so I've got like a red piece, a green piece that are perfect for doing ornaments on. And so I'm going to have to find the perfect ornaments to stitch on those. I'm thinking maybe something with white, that's kind of an all one color that I could do on that green or that red. I think that would be really pretty. There was a natural linen. There was kind of a creamy color, and then there was a white. And the white's been sitting there forever. I've started using the cream, and I've started using the natural. But this was actually the white piece. And so I decided I just so rarely stitch on white these days. So I took this and coffee dyed it, funnily enough, after my experience with the coffee incident. I did on purpose coffee dye this, and basically all I did was I just, poured a cup of dark roast and crunched this up and set it in there and let it sit for a little while, and then I got it out and ironed it. I don't know if I did it right, but I like the way it looks. It is slightly mottled. It's hard to tell on the screen, but you can see it a little bit. It's a little mottled. So, and this, my piece of fabric, I'm going to be super, super, super close to the edge. I actually have more room up here than I thought I was going to have, which may mean disaster here at the bottom, but you can see I actually put in some basting stitches because I was trying to determine how close I was going to be. So I may get to the bottom and realize that, yeah, this is a big hot mess. It's not all going to fit, but we'll deal with that when we get to the bottom. So anyway, that's what I've been stitching on. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's so much fun. And just really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the series. Highly recommend if you've not seen it. It's so good. Jonathan Rhys Meyers, I think, is so good, which is why I'm so sad about the whole Dracula debacle. But anyway, so that's really the only WIP that I've been working on was my little ornament and then my Henry VIII piece. So I have no quilting. I have no knitting to show. Quilting, I actually took in a quilt that needs to have the binding sewn onto it. The Dallas Modern Quilt Guild is doing Quilts for Peace to support the families that were affected by the shooting of the police officers here in Dallas, and then also some of the other shootings that have taken place since then, like in Baton Rouge, etc. So I'm going to be putting some binding on that quilt, and then I think I may have a second one that I'm going to be doing binding on. So the members have been sewing blocks, making quilt tops, quilting them and binding them, and then giving them to the families. So we've also been doing quilts for Pulse for the Orlando shooting. So we've been working on those as well. So anyway, that's the only quilting that I foresee in the near future. So what I thought I would show you, since I don't really have anything else finish-wise, WIP-wise, etc. I've talked a lot about my Project Roulette plan that I'm doing, where I basically took, I really wanted to work on finishing up some of my WIPs this year. And so, I took 9 WIPs that I was really interested in working on and in finishing, and wrote them on pieces of paper, put them in a little jar, and then on January 1st I chose the first one to work on, and my plan is just to keep working on them until I finally knock some of these suckers out. And so like each time I finish something, I'd pull the new one out of the jar. So I thought I would show you some of the other projects that are waiting in the wings for whenever I finish Mystery 9, or, sorry, we had to have a little argument here right on the table where we had to bite each other. Anyway, so When I finish Mystery 9 or Anniversaries of the Heart, you know, etc., then I will, these are what else is in the bucket, basically. So I thought I'd share those. So the first one, and let me see if I have the chart here. And these are all like in project bags. So I think I showed you this project bag maybe last time. I think this is the first one that Sylvia ever made for me. And this has been holding my my couple of things that I've been working on. Oh, here's some of the other fabric options that I have. This one's really green. This is Picture This Plus Dill. It's funny because in person it doesn't look that green, but boy, when you see it on camera, it's green. Because it's dill. Anyway, those are some of my other fabric choices that I have stuffed in here. So this first piece is a piece that I saw on someone's blog like forever and ever and ever and ever ago, and I completely fell in love with it. It's by a French designer. I'm going to see if there's a picture of it. Yeah, there is. It's by a French designer, and so I just fell in love with it and had to have it. Had to have it. And it's a simple little piece, but for some reason it's still a whip, like forever and a year, you know, or 12 later. Anyway, so this is Cuisine d'été, which is summer cuisine. And it's by Echevette, I assume is how that's pronounced. And it's just a sweet little piece. Now she had stitched this, as you can kind of see, on like a natural linen, like a raw linen. And so what I decided to do was stitch it on yellow. And so there's my little bit that I have done, and I love how it looks on the yellow. I really do. I love red and yellow together. I just think it's so sweet with those little cherries and that little cake stand. I just think it's darling, and it just calls for DMC, ecru, red and green. So that is what I'm using. There's my red and green, and instead of using ecru, since I am stitching it on yellow, I went with the B5200. That's that bright white, so that it would show up better. And then the fabric that I'm using is this Silk Weaver Lemon Zest 32 count that I've had forever and ever. This was when I was in the Fabric of the Month club from Silk Weaver, and like every month I would get 2 pieces of fabric. And I love this yellow. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm totally stitching that on this yellow. And I love how it's turning out. I have no idea why I set it aside. You know, it's one of those things like, baffles the mind, because it's so sweet and I love it. I love how it looks. It's not that hard. I don't know. Anyway, so that's one of my pieces. Love it. So there's that. And sorry for all the ruffling. And then the next piece that is in my Project Roulette jar is, hopefully, in this bag. This is also a Sylvia original with that sweet little Paris map on it, which I just adore. And on the inside, it's got same fabric line. It's got all the different landmarks on there. So the next piece is, and isn't that nice? So nice project bag, Ziploc bag inside the project. Keeping it real. So the next piece that I have is my Snooty Parrots piece. And I think that I have shown this before, but it's been a long time since I worked on this. So here's my piece, and excuse my little needle minder that's kind of weird here on the fold. There's my piece. And yes, in case you're wondering, this is teeny tiny. It is on, I bought this at the Attic in Arizona. This is uneven weave linen, and it is 5260 count. And what that means is that it is 52 threads in one direction and 60 threads in the other direction. So if you are stitching a piece that is square, your piece, when you stitch it on uneven weave, is not going to come out square. It's going to come out like rectangular because it's uneven weave. But I adore stitching on this fabric. I mean, it's crazy, nuts, but I mean, look at how teeny tiny. Anyway, I'm just in love with it. And I love stitching on this piece. And again, I don't know why the heck I set it down, but the key is you have to have really good light. You know, as with anything. So that is, it's Snooty Parrots, which is by Barbara Anna Designs, in the Facebook group, the Sampler World, I think, Facebook group. They did this as a stitch along year before last, and which is when I joined it. And I held out for several months, and I was like, I'm not gonna cave, I'm not gonna stitch this thing. And then I was like, oh well, if I'm gonna stitch it, I'm gonna stitch it on 45 count, because I've never stitched on 45 count, and I'd really kind of like to stitch on 45 count, so I'm gonna do that. So I call up Jean at the Attic, and I'm like, Jean, I think I want to stitch on, I want to do Snooty Parrots, and I want to do it on 45 count fabric. And she says, you know, I don't have any 45 count that's the right size, that's the right color, that's the da-da-da. Would you go for 50 count? I'm like, yeah, 45, 50, I'll go for 50. Why not? And then she says, well, it's not actually 50 count. It's 5260 count. And I'm like, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do this thing. So, and to stitch on something that is this small of count, the best thing to stitch it with is Tudor silks, which are very fine, fine, fine silk. By Gloriana, and they're absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. I mean, they're just really, they're so pretty. I could just roll around in silk all day long. Anyway, so they are, it's Tudor silk. Hold on, let me show you the thing. So Tudor silk, 12 strand, 122 silk floss. And because these are Gloriana, they basically, like any of the Gloriana colors, almost come in Tudor silks. So you can easily find the Tudor silks that you need. Look at that teal. Yeah. You can basically find the silks that you need for, with the colors that you need, I mean. So, 5260, this is Vintage Exemplar. And Jean is so great. Look what she does. So, when you're stitching on the 5260, she tells you right here on your little label which threads are in which direction. And so she tells you, you've got 60 in this way, 52 in this way, and she marks it for you so that you know exactly where you need to start, exactly which way it needs to go, and exactly which way it's cut so that your piece will do what you need it to do. Very nice. Very helpful. So, anyway, so Snooty Parrots, and I took this with me when I went to Germany. So I stitched on it in Germany. I stitched on it a little bit in Paris, and I stitched on it in Bavaria too, which of course is, in Germany, but we were in a different location from where we had started. So anyway, so I stitched on this over there, and I have also stitched on this in Arizona and Texas, and I really should have taken it with me the last time I went on a trip, but I think I completely forgot about it. So anyway, this has been widely traveled. I love it. Maybe this is a good thing that I'm getting these out, because now I'm like falling in love with them again and thinking, oh, I need to pick this up and stitch this. So next time I may be like, all of the whips here, I've worked on everything. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Okay, so Snooty Parrots. And then let's see, the next piece is, I think it's in this bag. This is another Sylvia original. And this fabric, this macaron fabric, we bought when we were in Paris at a little needle workshop there. And when I saw it, I gasped, because I was like, I've been looking for this fabric everywhere. And it comes in a bunch of different background colors, like a blue and a yellow and a white and a pink, but I loved it in this chocolate color. So we bought enough, I think we bought 1 meter, and then Sylvia made us matching bags out of it, and she put this really sweet button on here that I just love. So anyway, and then the inside just has pink on it. So this, oh, and I'll show you this. So I have my little polka dotty scissors. It's hard to tell, but they do have little polka dots on them. And my sweet little scissor fob that I bought at the Needlework Show in Paris, from a little place called, I think it's called Butterfly Couture. And they just have the sweetest little pieces. I may have showed you my scissor fob that is on my red scissors that has the little girl and the strawberry. Same company. And I loved the little, this is like leather, the little leather suede tassel on the bottom. I just love it. So cute. And it's perfect on my macaron bag. So let's see if I have this in here. I do. All right, so this is Primitive Wizard of Oz by Midsummer Night Designs, and I have had this literally since it came out. I wonder if this tells me when it came out. No, it doesn't. That's probably a good thing. But I love Wizard of Oz. And when this came out, I just thought it was so cute. And, you know, it's just a sweet little piece. So I bought it, and it's stitched with Crescent Colors, DMC, and then it also called for Kreinik metallic, this silver. I tried it. In fact, there it is right there. And Kreinik is not too bad to work with. It's not like the DMC metallic that's a nightmare. But when I stitched it, it didn't have enough sparkle to me. Like it just seemed like it needed a little more oomph. And so I went into my chatelaine stash because, you know, and I pulled out the Rainbow Gallery Treasure Braid, Petite Treasure Braid, and used this. This stuff is the bomb. Like if you're gonna stitch metallic, this is the stuff. No joke. Don't even mess with that other crap. Just don't even do it. You will thank yourself later. One, because it's super sparkly. Two, because it's way easier to use and it doesn't seem to like unwind and shred and whatever the heck that other crap does. So I'm stitching this on 40 count, and this is more of the Gonder linen, and this is in the raw colorway. I hadn't started this for forever because I was like, I don't have any raw fabric. I don't have any raw fabric. And then one day it was like, wait a minute. Yes, I do. So, and I've showed this on the podcast before, so you have seen this. But that's where I left off. And I love stitching this. It's so much fun. But you can see like Glinda's crown and then the wand up there are in the metallic. It's just so cute. I love it. Love it, love it. Now, the only other thing that I changed is I changed the green, because the green that it called for was like four-leaf clover, Crescent Colors, Classic Colorworks, whatever, four-leaf clover. And I started stitching with it and I was like, it's not doing it for me. It was just sort of pale green. So I went with Weeks Emerald. That's the ticket, because I wanted my letters to be emerald green, of course. Oh, and here's an example. So I showed you last time how I do my thread storage. So I have my DMC on bobbins. They have their little numbers on them. And then I've got my other stuff in floss away bags with labels. So anyway, so yeah, I love this. I don't know why the heck I stopped working on it, but I did. Are you sensing a theme? So anyway, and on my Project Roulette piece, I tried to choose pieces not only that I was interested in working on, because let me tell you, I have a whole lot of whips that I'm not interested in working on. But things that I was really interested in working on, and I keep dropping things. And I try to pick a mix of larger projects, medium size, smaller, you know. So like the Cuisine d'Ete piece is a small, you know, fairly easy piece. So is the Primitive Wizard of Oz. I figured those would be quick, kind of knock them out projects. I had a finishing project on there, which was my hairpins, which was my first choice, my first pick that I finished 2 weeks into the new year. Of course, I've got my larger pieces, Anniversaries of the Heart, Mystery 9, etc. Snooty Parrots, which really kind of falls into that larger piece. Even though, because I was stitching it on such a tiny little stitch count, it's a much smaller piece than it would be otherwise, but it is a very involved piece. So let's see what else I got. So the next one is in this project bag, also made by Miss Sylvia. And it has these sweet little stork scissors, sweet little ribbon. I love this ruffle at the top. And it does have Velcro to hold it closed, but I've got too much crap in it for it to close. And then on the inside, it's got this, it's kind of like satin stitch print. And then there's a little case in here with a pom-pom. You may recall episode 1, Who Can Resist a Pom-Pom? And I have my scissors in here with my sweet little scissor fob that my friend Ava bought for me that are in scissor jail. So this piece that's in here is, this is His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. And so I mentioned that Snooty Parrots was the stitch along for, I think it was 2014. And so then this one was the stitch along piece for the same group, Sampler World on Facebook, for 2015. And so of course this was like my, New Year's Day start, all excited. That's all I got done. That's it. And in case you think this is a lot, look at how big this piece of fabric is. Yeah, no joke. And this is a piece of, I think it's also that Gonder linen. I believe this is 48 count. So, I mean, you can see how small that is. I think the original is done on like 30 count, 32 count. I want to say it's 30 count. Maybe it's 28. But the thing is like ginormous. And a part of me loves it, that it's ginormous. But then another part of me is like, realistically, do I want to frame something that size? And also, I kind of like stitching tiny. So 48 count it is. And Sylvia hand dyed this also, did a beautiful job on it. I'm so thrilled with it. It's gorgeous, gorgeous piece of linen. And this is the little needle miner. I didn't show you on my Snooty, but the needle miner on my Snooty Parrots Sylvia made. This one was made by my friend Kim. A little flower, so sweet. So anyway, this is all that I have done. I love stitching on this. Absolutely love it. I was enjoying it so much, I do not know why I tossed it aside. Because I'm fickle that way, I guess. I don't know. And here are all of the thread. Oh, I've got all kinds of crap going on. Here's my little thread keep, which was, this is from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. She sells these on her site every so often. And they're beautifully made. Beautifully made. This was a gift from my friend Kim. Anyway, so it's got like a bazillion colors. I think they're all Gentle Arts and Weeks. And I keep stealing them for other things. But I love this piece. I love it. I would really like to get back to it. And I am, I feel like, even though I don't have a whole lot to show, I feel like I'm stitching a lot more than I had been, which is making me really happy. Because there were long periods of time where I was doing no stitching. I was under a lot of pressure with work and other stuff, and the past few years have just been really hard. So getting back into reading and reigniting that love, and then also getting back into my stitching. Not that I ever completely put it down, but I seem to be stitching a lot more consistently, and I'm excited about it again, and I find that I'm stitching more and I'm loving it, which is, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Okay, so I think that's 48 count Gonder linen with Gaston Weeks, heartstring sampler. His eye is on the sparrow. And like I said, all of this info will be in the show notes. So if you fall in love with something and want to know what it is, feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer questions, but I will do a blog post on the blog that has all of these details in it. Okay, so the next one is in my bag that won't close because I have too much stuff in it. It's also by Sylvia. She spoils me. This is a Kate Spade Christmas print, and the inside is also Kate Spade, and then it's got this sweet little heart button on it. So this piece is somewhere in here because I have like 52 little ornaments and things that I've started on and not finished or something. Anyway, so this is a piece that I dearly love and was so excited to purchase. It was my first purchase from them. And if you have not heard of them, oh, I didn't even print it, did I? Oh yeah, I did, but not in color. If you haven't heard of them, you need to Google. And they also have a Facebook group so that you can join there if you are on Facebook. It's Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And so this piece is Christmas Celebration Sampler, and it was a mystery piece. So like each week you would get 3 parts, I think. So, you know, you got like these 3 and then these 3 and then these 3 and then this border or something along those lines. So 4 weeks. And of course it spells Christmas. And it is so darling. I just love their pieces. They're so well done. They're so cute. And most everything you can get as an instant PDF download, or if you're doing a mystery, then you know you will get the download link sent to you so that you can download and print them. So I printed out, you know, the color key and everything. They're all full color. I printed out. They give you a color chart and a black and white chart, kind of like Martina does with chatelaine. And so, you know, I printed everything out in color except, of course, the picture, because why would I need to do that? So, anyway, so this is the Christmas Celebration Sampler from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I saw somebody stitching this on this fabric, and I absolutely had to have it. This is what sold me on this whole piece. It's this polka dot fabric. Seriously. Can it get any cuter? I don't think so. So I started in the middle with my little snowman. And how cute is he? He's just darling. Darling. Like, seriously. I can't. It's so cute. And so this is 32 count polka dot natural linen by Zweigart. And the polka dots do come in different colors. I think they have a red. This is the white on natural. They might have a blue. And the pattern calls for DMC and 1 overdyed thread, which is a gas thread, Gentle Arts thread. And I'm going to show you this thread because it's super, super cute. And I ordered my fabric from the Cottage Needle, which is an Etsy shop. Sorry for the crinkles. And super fast service, very friendly, so helpful. And, you know, I had asked her, okay, if I, you know, will it fit on this piece of fabric, etc. You know, and she was very sweet, answered my question very quickly. And then she also sent with my fabric a bone size 26 needle with it, which was very sweet. And I love the packaging, so cute. So here's the cottage needle on Etsy. Very, very nice service. And she carries stuff specifically for frosted pumpkin stuff as well. So typically if you want to order things, not a kit per se, which you can order directly from them, but if you want to order fabric or something, she usually has listings for that. So this is Weeks. I don't know why I put Gast. It's Weeks. Anyway, and it is called Snowflake. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it has the no, I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Let's see if I hold it up there. It has, yeah, you can kind of see it. It has a very subtle pink and icy blue just hint to it. So it's called Snowflake, and this is what the border is done in, and the snowman, etc., is done in this. So stinking cute. And I really, really, really wanted to do their Pumpkin Passport, which is their year-long mystery this year, because it's, you know, world travel, which I love. And you know, it started off with London and with Paris, with the Louvre, which I just can't resist, but apparently I did resist. So I have heard a rumor that someone might be doing a stitch along of the Passport next year. So thinking I may have to get in on that. So anyway, so that's my other piece, is this Christmas sampler, and I started this on Thanksgiving last year, I think. I'm pretty sure I started on Thanksgiving. It's fun to kind of start a Christmas piece on Thanksgiving, I think. I guess it was, you know, Paulette's Sunday Mystery Sampler that kind of got me into that way of thinking. But just so cute. So anyway, I'd like to get this one done for sure this year. And it's fun to stitch on. So, and then one last one. So, and before I show you this, I'll tell you. So I picked 9 pieces. The 10th piece was actually a free wild card that was a seasonal wild card. So I figured if I pulled that one out, whatever season it was, I could stitch on something, you know, that I just felt like stitching on one of these pieces or something else that was seasonal that I really wanted to work on, you know, that time of year, because it never fails that, you know, in the fall I decide I want to stitch on something fall, and in August I do Christmas ornaments, whatever. So, okay. This piece, and I just barely have a start on it. I believe I started this last year as well, in October. Oh, and I should probably show you my bag before I get too far off track here. So this is another Sylvia bag, and I'm so in love with this fabric because it's ravens and writing, calligraphy, and it's so Edgar Allan Poe. I love it. And I'll show you these guys in bird cages. It's on the inside. How cute. And kind of creepy and awesome. So that's in this bag. And this bag is kind of, as you can see, it's sort of long and thin. And so it perfectly fits my Q-snap when I use it with the 11 by 17 configuration. And so here is my little bitty start. And sadly, I actually have a mistake in this, which is probably why I put it away. Because, you know, that's how I do. So this is, let me find the cover chart. This is Blackened Sky by the Primitive Needle. Sweet Lisa Roswell, who is no longer with us, unfortunately. I fell in love with this piece when she released it. I absolutely fell in love with this piece. And this was actually a gift from her. And I've been wanting to stitch it, you know, since she gave it to me. So in October, I finally just decided to pull it out and work on it. And I have had the pattern and the threads for some time now. I did not have the fabric is the only reason I think. I had the pattern and the threads, not the fabric. And that's the only thing I think that kept me from starting it before now. But the fabric is Lakeside 40 count pear, which is what it calls for. And I'm going to show you my little scissor fob. So I have this, these scissors, which are kind of red and blue, and my husband made this scissor fob for me with a metal on it. And he does this paracord work that just is so fun. And so he made this for me to put on my scissors. He asked if I wanted a keychain, and he had actually already made me another keychain, so I said, no, I want a scissor fob, so he made that for me. So, I have that in here, all of my little precious pieces. And so this chart, actually, the threads that it calls for are silks, and they are by the Pure Palette, and it's Baroque silk. And I remember Lisa saying that she saw these threads at market and completely fell in love with them. She just said that they were so beautiful and so well made and so squishy that she basically, she wanted to design a piece that used these Pure Palette silks, and she swore to us that we would absolutely love them. She's like, I know people already have you know, silks of other brands and everything, and they may not want to buy, you know, something totally new, but she said, you will not regret it. They are so, so, so pretty. And so, so I did actually buy all of the Pure Palette silks, and some of them I've already pulled out of here, but let me just show you some of them. I mean, they're really, really beautifully made. And there's the little label, and if you can read that. So it's thepurepalette.com. I don't know if they're still making these or not. I hope that they are. They really are delicious to work with. They're so beautiful. They have that beautiful sheen to them, just like Gloriana does, just like Silken Colors does. And those are really my favorites to work with. And here's let me show you these others. There's a few more colors that I've already unskeined, but they're just beautiful, beautiful fall colors, and I couldn't resist them. Here's that bright, bright green that is called Envy. And they do have great names. Cinnamon Toast, Saffron, August Moon, Sedona Hills, Dry Martini, Whisper, Ocotillo, Bailey's, Spanish Coffee, Cauldron. That's probably the reason that Lisa liked these. Swamp Thing. So they're beautiful. So if you love silks, if you love stitching with silks, I highly recommend that if you can get them to try, get these Pure Palette silks. They're lovely, and I'm so thankful to Lisa for designing with them, so that I had the opportunity to give them a try, because they're really lovely. So Tudor Silks, Pure Palette silks. You won't be sorry. 5260 Lane. Okay, anyway, so so that's my little bitty start on this. I would really like to stitch on this some more. I've been watching somebody stitch on this on Instagram. I believe she also has a floss tube. I think it's Eclectic Possessions, maybe. Excuse me. And it's been fun watching her stitch on this. She just finished it, and so it is making me kind of want to get back to mine. But I love it. It's beautiful. All of these are beautiful. I love them. I really would like to stitch with them and finish them. So, okay, well, those are the 9. So the ones I showed last week that I've been working on, and then these, that's it. So those are kind of my focus projects. And so if I can, you know, get back and get Anniversaries of the Heart finished or Mystery 9 finished, then I can pull something else out of the roulette box and see what other fun things I can work on. And of course, you know, I got Totally Waylaid by Henry VIII, as one does. So, anyway, so that's really all that I had to share with you, stitching wise. I know my last 2 episodes have just been stitching, but you know, that's just the way it is. So I hope that you are enjoying that. And I wanted to give a couple of shout outs. So I've been trying to get caught up on watching some FlossTube videos. I have gotten kind of woefully behind on watching other folks' videos. So I got caught up this past week or last week on my friend Nicole from Nicole's Needlework. I mentioned her last week or last time. And so I got caught up on her videos. And funny enough, you know, I did watch her episode where she showed her thread storage and, you know, talked about it. And then, of course, you know, when I showed mine last week, I had no idea that she had already done that. I had only seen Vanna's video. So she does talk about her IKEA boxes that she uses, like mine with the Floss Away bags. But then she had also started doing, that's for her silks, and then she'd also done Vanna's process, you know, for hanging them on the file folders for her overdyed threads. So that was fun to see. See, if I was just caught up on things, I would know these and I wouldn't have to ask. but I really enjoyed getting caught up on her videos. So if you haven't watched her, go take a look. Nicole's Needlework, you can Google and her blog will come up, or you can check on YouTube to see her videos and subscribe. She's an incredible stitcher, an incredible knitter. She posted a video on Instagram the other day of her stitching, and I was like, is this thing on like fast speed? Because oh my gosh, she stitches so fast. And it's probably because she does the sewing method. I do the, stab and then hope for the best method. And oh my gosh, she's so fast. It's no wonder she finishes so many things. So anyway, so shout out to Nicole. If you haven't seen her videos, go check those out because she's fabulous. And then also another friend of mine, I got caught up on her videos as well. Annette from Annette's Acre. I've been very much enjoying her videos. When she first started doing her videos, I think I watched the first two, and then I just sort of, got distracted with other things. And so now I've gone back and watched all of the rest of her videos, and I very much enjoyed them. And she is working on the pumpkin passport that I talked about from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. That is very sweet, and I enjoy seeing her updates on that. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Annette, go check her out. She's a lot of fun and stitches on some fun things. So those are the two that I've been working on. I'm gonna try to start getting caught up on a couple other ones that I've subscribed to, and watch all the backlog and start from the beginning. I like to start from the beginning and watch all of them. So it's fun to sit and watch folks while I'm stitching or working or whatever. So those are my shout outs for this week. And then books. So I finished reading The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I have not really seen anyone else posting about it or having read it that I know. So it was a little bit of a chance to take to watch that or to read that one. But it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I read it. It looks like it's the first in a series. So if you're interested in that whole kind of, Victorian era, supernatural, Penny Dreadful-ish kind of thing, well worth it. It reminds me of Gail Carriger, The Parasol Protectorate. Also, those are good books. So it's kind of the same vein, but definitely enjoyed it. So I actually just went to the library and picked up a few other books. So I'll get started on one of those and let you know what I'm reading next. So that's it for me. I'm at the over the hour mark again because I just have so much to say, clearly. But anyway, could you imagine if I did this every week? It would be like, an hour and a half every freaking week. But anyway, I can't be brief. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you saw some things that got you inspired or intrigued, or that you're interested in maybe looking at further. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube or on my blog, or shoot me a note on Instagram. Or shoot me an email. Anything you want to do. So I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much to those of you that have subscribed. Thank you so much to those of you that have left comments or likes. I can't thank you enough. So again, cozygg.cozyeggdesigns.com is where you can find all the show notes, all the links and everything to everything I've talked about in this episode. And I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Thanks. Bye.